My name is Heather Peak Morison and I'm an artist, and I've been working with Creative Civic Change for 4 years as a critical friend and an artist. It's a really big privilege to be able to talk to you all about what an impact Creative Civic Change has had on us all, because we've been working together, the three of us, for the last 4 years, haven't we?
Yes.
And we've been on a real journey, and we thought that we might try and explain how powerful and extraordinary Creative Civic Change has been for us all. Who'd like to start? Who feels most changed or has the biggest insight or that they want to share with everybody?
The Creative Civic Change has been a very powerful creative force within our communities for the past 4 years. I mean, it has been better than we thought it would be. And I stand here as testament to the power of that creative force that we've all experienced in and around the country. And there's a lot that wouldn't have happened. There's a lot of access to places that our communities wouldn't have had it not be for the Creative Civic Change process. For me, that is quite fundamental. And I think George can explain it a little further on that.
Yeah, so within my community of Kingswood and Hazel Lees, there has been a creative civic change collectively and individually. Within the group, there's been a lot of confidence, a lot of capacity growing. We've been involved in so many great activities creatively. You know, we've went to many places that many people in our community would not necessarily have had the opportunity to do, you know, without, you know, Creative Civic Change being here, and just working as a collective within Kingswood and Hazel Lees, providing, enabling and allowing and supporting artistic opportunities for our community has been it's just joyful.
Both of you, what would you say about one of the things that I think has been most powerful and has caused the most amount of change to happen is the fact that there's art and creativity at the heart of everything that we do. And the thing about art in particular, it is that it comes from here. So there's sort of like, it's quite difficult to measure and also quite difficult to explain what that means in terms of change. And I've seen that with both of us. We've all had moments, haven't we, when we know that the art is the most powerful thing because it speaks to us directly and it allows us to reflect, and it also allows us to show to understand who we really are in the world.
Yeah, I think I agree with you in total. The art is quite important, and the notion that was there before that you had to be an artist to experience art was debunked by the Creative Civic Change. Here I am, not identifying myself as an artist, an ordinary resident who then rose to be a project lead, and I'm of a migrant background. That is the power of the Creative Civic Change, the power to bring two communities together. Our CCC brought Birchfield and Welsh House Farm communities in Birmingham together. Those communities wouldn't have ever met had it not be for the Creative Civic Change. Now we are friends. Now we are much more than friends. Friendship that will last us a lifetime. But what was very critical about the Creative Civic Change and the art that you're talking about being personal is that the funding itself, it was personal. The funding trusted residents with their own creative activities. That is fundamental. The residents were allowed to co-create that art that was personal to them, to choose what they want in the way they wanted it, and it almost brought those dreams to life. That was fundamental.
Yeah, and Heather was saying as well that the art itself is really important. You know, that's the vehicle to make the changes that we've seen in the area. And just one example of that would be the murals that Kingswood and Hazel Lees Creative Civic Change have done. Was, you know, it was such a long process, but there was a lot of learning, because one of the things that we were asked about is the learning that we've experienced in this creative civic change journey, and it's been just there's a little phrase that I always use is every day is a school day, so there's always an opportunity to learn from each other within the group, learn from the community and colleagues, and just working together to give people that chance to have their say. So local people making decisions that impact the place that they live and work in.
The most important thing that I've learned from working in Creative Civic Change the last 4 years and working with both of you two and many other communities I've worked with, I think I've worked with every single group on lots of different things, is that although I've done that, I'm an artist that usually makes very large scale public works all over the place, hugely involved and massive sort of fabrication and project management and all that kind of stuff. But actually with Creative Civic Change, I've actually made nothing. I've just worked with the groups using the thinking and artistic processes that I know to work in a really beautiful, non-egotistical, non-hierarchical way to collaborate together. And I've learned so much that my practice is fundamentally changed, and had the most beautiful conversations about everything from poetry to public art to murals to gardening, cooking and so on, because art is everything. Actually, it encompasses everything, and I've learnt an enormous amount from all of you.
Well, Heather, you said that you haven't made anything, but what you've done is you've made us, helped us grow. Helped us as a group and as individuals grow. So there has been making. There's been that phrase that you use often is composting. So there is that as well. And it's just been I just want to say that Creative Civic Change has been a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I thank those involved for on behalf of my people here in Kingswood and Hazeley. So thank you.
Yeah, I also want to reiterate what you've said, Heather. I mean, creativity was often bottled as its own thing, which is separate from engagement or project management or whatever. But what we found is that your support was fundamental in helping us to realize how powerful we were, even though we are at the grassroots. It was not just about the art. It was about the engagement, talking to people communing, people eating together, people remembering each other at Christmas beyond whatever project we were doing. The Creative Civic Change allowed for conversations that wouldn't have otherwise happened without the talk of creativity. It brought out many community creatives who never called themselves as such. So we're talking about a force that went beyond the art. We didn't have to make anything, because through Creative Civic Change, we were all making something within ourselves. That was the creative bit. The art bit was the personal stuff, the growth in people who were leading it, in people who were contributing to it, the growth of the residents to connect from across the neighborhoods and across the counties, the friendships that were forged, and really on behalf of Hard Times Requires Furious Dancing, and on behalf of all the groups that received this funding, I would like to thank the funders fundamentally for trusting us with the funds in the first place. Without the trust, very many poor communities are not trusted with the processes that they need to go through to find change. But we were trusted, and we say thank you for that. This is just the beginning. A lot of work needs to be done for many, many more years. And we hope this has proved, if it was in any way a test, it has proved that we can do it. And the future looks bright. If ever we can say this is one thing we are taking from Creative Civic Change, it is that it has fundamentally changed the way we see ourselves.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you, George, and talking to you, Dadarai. We're going to have to wrap this up. We could talk for ages about everything that we've learned over the last 4 years. And we are actually going to be recording a podcast after this. George and I have been travelling all over the country, meeting lots of different groups. Our podcast is called Don't Get Any Ideas. And you'll be able to listen to much more extended conversations with people like Dadarai and lots of other people from the CCC group on the CCC website. So it's been a pleasure. So thank you and goodbye.